Hello, my name is Jack Dulles, Director of Training at Tulsa Welding School, and today we're going to go over a 2G with a 1/2-inch plate with a backing strip. So this has been something that people have asked to see, so I'm going to run one. I think I've ran one before, but we're going to come back and run another one for you. So I've got my 1/2-inch plate here. And what you want to do is make sure that you've prepped it all up and cleaned it all up. As you can see, I've cleaned all on the outside, I've cleaned on the bevel, and I've cleaned on the back side of the plate. You want to make sure that all of it's prepped, all of it's cleaned up, so where you get a nice fit and you get a nice weld going because you got your metal all clean. Also, you want to make sure that you clean up your backing strip. Okay, make sure it's all nice and shiny and all been clean. Make sure you get all the mill scale and rust off of it so you got nice clean metal to work on. So what I've done is I've went ahead and cleaned it all up, prepped them all up. I have a plate here that I've already set up. We're going to run a 1/4-inch gap in between the plates. As you can see on here, I've got a 1/4-inch gap on my backing strip between bevel to bevel. And what we're going to do is we're going to run 70/18 1/8 rods in the 2G position. What is our amperage? What is our polarity? We're going to be running on DC positive. Okay, that's the polarity we're going to run on. We're going to run 70/18 1/8 rods. What's the amperage I would recommend run this? Anywhere from about 110 to 120 amps is recommended for a 1/8 70/18 in the 2G position. So, like I say, we checked everything. We'll make sure we got our machine on. Okay, we're going to turn up the volts, the amperage a little bit. Got our amperage set up. We're looking good. We've got our metal all prepared. So, let's get to it. All right, on our first pass, what we're going to do is we're going to run it right down the middle. There's going to be a little oscillation in there, a little top to bottom as we're going down. We want to make sure that we're burning right into our bevel plate and into our backing strip. So there's going to be a little oscillation going back and forth as we're running it down, but we're making sure that we're getting burned into our top plate, our backing plate, and our bevel edge. So here, watch and see. All right, here we go. Okay, as you can see, we didn't quite make it all the way. You know, you're not going to make it all the way when you got a 1/2-inch gap like we have, or a 1/4-inch gap like we have here. So you're going to have to stop and make a tie-in. And I'll show you a tie-in. It's called a J technique. It's one of the easiest ones to learn how to do. And literally, you're going to strike up ahead, and we're going to come back and we're going to draw a little J and make the tie-in. I'll do another video on that another time, but that's how we'll do it. We're going to make a J technique, make this nice tie-in, and continue on. Let me clean my metal up here. All right, here we go. Always use your runoff tabs too. As you're going along, make sure you use these tabs, okay? That gives you a place to let your metal build up on the ends so where you don't have it sagging down, undercutting on the plate. So always make sure you use your runoff tabs, you know, start on them and finish on your runoff tabs, okay? Sometimes you have the piece just fall right off. All right. Let's brush this down, clean it up. Okay. And we've got it burned in there nice and smooth. Everything's looking good. Nice smooth beads. Getting all of our slag out of here. Get this little piece off real quick. There it goes. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to come in And I'm going to start running beads along the bottom, okay? I'm not going to run another big weave or oscillation. I'm going to start running stringer beads, and I'm going to run them start right along the bottom and run it from left to right, and then I'll come in and I'll run one along the top. So we'll run 2 beads as basically a fill, and then we'll run multi-passes after that as we fill it up and put a cap on it. All right, here we go. And what I'm watching for here is I just want to make sure this bead is getting filled in. We got a nice smooth little bead running. Nothing fancy. Like I say, we're just trying to burn right into our toe lines of the last bead. Starting on the bottom first. You always run them from bottom to top. Okay, nice smooth bead on there. Let's clean it up. Okay. All right, now that we've got the bottom bead on there, I'm going to come in, I'm going to run this top bead. All right, we're going to have a slight up angle on here, so because when we're running a 2G, you got to remember gravity's wanting to pull it down, so we're going to have a slight up angle on it, a nice little travel, keep it in there nice tight, run a nice smooth bead across the top, make sure you have good overlap. Here we go. Okay. Okay, always check your work, make sure it's in there, make sure you're getting all your slag out, whatever's going on. Also, you don't always have to run it, you know, from left to right. You could say that you could run them back from right to left, but during this video, I'm just going to show you, I'm just going to run them all from left to right, stacking them from bottom to the top. All right, once again, we're going back down to the bottom. And we're going to start right over the last bead that we had off of the bottom, overlapping them here, and just going to slowly start stacking them and filling up this piece of plate. All right, here we go. And while you're doing this too, this could go, even if you're using 1/2 inch plate, or if you're using 1 inch plate, or if you're using 3 inch plate, you know, it would still all be the same. You're still going to run them from bottom to top, overlapping them. Usually if you're right-handed, you run them from left to right. You don't have to per se, but most of the time you run them from left to right for the right-handers, and vice versa for the left-handers. But you'll still stack them from bottom to top, and through the same process I'm going through right now, overlapping your beads, filling the plate up flush, and then putting your cap on. Doesn't matter what size the plate is, if it's thinner or if it's thicker. Sometimes it'll take less passes, sometimes it'll take more passes, but it's still the same concept. Over and over, stacking the beads, nice overlap from bottom to top. Okay, always check your work. Make sure what you got going on. If you need to run another pass in there, if you need to run 2 or 3 passes on the field, you just got to use your best judgment in there and look and see how it's going. There's going to be areas where as you run a little faster, a little slower, you'll see some areas are filling up more. As you look down on my end down here, you can see it's a little lower, so I'm going to have to make adjustments as I move down. I'm going to have to realize that I need to fill up a little bit more down in this area, so I may need to slow down a little bit. But you have to recognize what's happening here and you make your own call, make your own adjustments. Like I said, we all run it a little bit different. So just like I say, look and see, evaluate your welds. All right, we're gonna go ahead and run this next one in here. Almost didn't make it. That was just enough rod. It was just enough. Okay. All right, we're going to continue on, keep going. We're just going to keep running some more beads. Back again, back on the bottom again. Starting to stack them back up from off the bottom. So run us a bead in here. Looks like we've got about another 8, 9 more beads and we'll be there. So hang in there, we're almost done. Here we go. Slag hiding right there. Sometimes that slag, it just kind of gets trapped in there and you kind of got to give it a little love tap to get it out, you know what I mean? All right, so we're going to have to run multi-passes here. As you can see, last time we were able to just run it with 2 beads in the fills. As you can tell, we're not going to be able to make it with just 2, so we're probably going to have to run 3, maybe even 4. It doesn't matter how many beads it is, it just matters as long as you're getting it flushed and filled up properly. All right, we're doing good. Let's continue on. And say always try to use your runoff tabs. Those definitely help you out. So take full advantage of those runoff tabs. Try to start on your runoff tab and make sure you finish. A little slag right here. Okay. Like I said, as you move up the plate, make sure that you change your angles a little bit. Maybe favor it up on the top just a little bit so where make sure it's filling up in the top section. All right. All right, here we go. Just watching our puddle, keeping it up in there nice and tight. Try to keep a nice tight arc length the whole time. Really helps you control your puddle. Okay. All right, we're not there yet. We're getting close. We just got a few more passes. We'll have it filled up, then we can come back and put a cap on it. So let's continue joining me with a few more passes here, then we'll put a cap on it, okay? As you go and put your fill in, always here too, don't take it over your beveled edge. When you're getting ready to put your fill in or getting up to your cap, always try to leave at least a 1/16 of a beveled edge left. I try not to take it all the way down to it. Reason being is I like for that, when I put my cap on, I like for there to be a little lip there so where I can set my weld on it. If you don't have that little edge there, sometimes it'll want to roll over itself. I call it the beer belly effect. And you know, you don't want any beer bellies. Nobody likes the beer belly. So like I say, try to keep that little edge there so as you run over it, you know, as you put your cap on, it's got that little lip to sit on so where it doesn't want to roll over itself. If it's rolling over itself, you're probably going too slow, and that's why it's beer bellying over. It's filling up and it's over rolling itself, and it's getting that little, you know, looks like a beer belly. So watch out for those things. We'll run those, we'll run this here, and hopefully we've got it all in there nice and tight. So here we go. Okay. Got a little piece of, there it goes. A little diddy ball was holding up the slag there. A little slag here. There it goes. Let's come in and run another one here. Here we go. All right. Okay. All right, a couple more passes in here and we'll have it filled up and we're ready to put a cap on. So let's get these other couple beads in here. Just making sure I get it all cleaned up, getting all out of the slag that may be in there. There's little pieces right here. But I wanted to do this one for you without any power tools. Just wanted to show you just with a file and a wire brush. Okay, like I say, sometimes you're allowed to use power tools, sometimes you're not. So I've shown one of these before where I used some power tools. This one I wanted to come back and show no power tools at all, just entirely a file and a wire brush. All right, put this last bead up in here. All right. Okay, so far we've got a 1/2 inch plate with a 1/4 inch gap in between with a backing strip. We've ran 70/18 1/8 rods. We've ran it on DC positive. We've ran a 1/8 rod anywhere from 110 to 120 amps. And like I said, we've ran, I don't know how many beads, I don't count them, but we've got it filled up flush here. And so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back and put a cap. What is a cap? A cap is basically your cover pass. We call it the money bead from time to time. It's basically what everybody sees, you know. So when you walk up and you look at a weld, you're looking at the cap of the weld. Obviously there's a root and there's a fill and there's a cap. And so what we've done is we've basically done all of that and filled it all up. And so now we're gonna come in and put a cap on. And hopefully I can run it good here and put some nice beads on here without messing it up and show you some nice money beads. But yeah, putting a cap on, we're gonna run it here. I'm going to make sure that I'm not running it down over my bevel. I want to keep my rod above the bevel and watch my puddle just slightly overwash the beveled edge. As I'm running it along, I'm watching that puddle as it covers up my beveled edge. And you want it just to barely cover up the bottom beveled edge, and that puts a nice clean straight line on there. Puts a nice cap on it for you. So like I said, you got to watch out for sagging down, or you know, a lot of times people bury the rod into the metal, and when you bury the rod into the metal, you can't quite see what you're doing, and then a lot of times you'll just veer off, and next thing you know, it'll be a lot wider. It'll start going up and down all over the place, and you don't want those types of things. So just try to keep a nice tight arc length, and like I say, keep it in there close. Watch that bottom edge of the puddle as it comes over and covers up your beveled edge. All right, let's finish it out here. Okay. Okay, not too bad. All right, coming in, we're gonna run a few more beads here. Sorry, gotta get off my knee for a second. Hurts. All right, watch your eyeballs. We're just gonna come in and overlap these last few beads, put the cap on. Watch your eyeballs. Okay. Okay. Just a couple more passes here. You're looking good. All right, here we go. Okay, we're almost there, folks. We're almost there. Just got maybe one or two more passes in there. Make sure to put a nice, good, clean cap on it. Okay, here we go. Okay, one more pass. One more pass. Yay! You gotta have fun with it, you know what I mean? If you don't, you might go a little crazy. Sorry, my knee is hurting a little bit. I have to kind of get up off my knee. Hold the rod up a little bit. Hold it up in the upward angle. All right, let's finish this off. Okay, looks pretty good. It's not too bad. So once again, we have ran 1/2 inch plate, okay, with a backing strip, with a 1/4 inch gap in between, 70/18 1/8 rods, ran on DC positive. I ran 1/8 rods at about 118 amps, And like I say, I don't know how many passes it took. Maybe you can count them. But like I say, just running them, overlapping them. Make sure you're running them from bottom to top. Keep a nice tight arc length in there. And you can run nice clean beads, okay? So take your time with it, practice. If you got questions, you got concerns, please reach out to Tulsa Welding School. We'll be glad to help you. Thank you for watching our video today. I hope you have a great day. See you next time. Thank you. Thank you for watching our video today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something today. If you would like to get some more tips and tricks and become a better welder, then subscribe to our channel. And if you would like to learn even more right now, then click on our link. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.